Well, you have been asking me to show you how to make a string, and I've promised to do so, especially here after I got this new flax cord that I want to make a medieval string from. Flax cord is not necessarily the one to make your first bowstring from, but it's what I'm going to show you here today. So what do you need in order to make a bowstring? Here comes. First off, you need some string material. You'll need something to, perhaps some clamps to wipe your cords around, a knife, some string wax, and your bow. Let's get started. Right, so these are the basic things that we're going to be using for making this bowstring. Now, today I'm going to be showing how to use flax string. It's actually my first flax string, so I'm excited about that. But you can also use other string materials. This one is Dacron B55. Is often recommended for making bowstrings for self bows, or wooden bows in general. Now, in order to make a bowstring, you need to find out what the breaking point of the cord you're using is, and you have to multiply that by your bowstring. You have to multiply your bow strength, your draw weight of the bow, by 5 or 6 in order to be sure that your bowstring won't break. Now, this is a 45-pound bow, and I'm going to be using 6 strands of flax. And usually there's recommended about 14 to 16 with Dacron B55, which has no labeled breaking point. But in general, they recommend 14 to 16 strands in order to ensure that it doesn't break. Today we're not going to be using the B55, but this is what you can buy that is used and certified and whatever. Today I'm going to be using a 0.8mm flax string. Now I've actually also ordered a 0.4mm flax string because this one here is a bit thick and you actually have a hard time adjusting your bow string diameter. So going from 6 to 8 strands here, you will increase the diameter by quite a lot, and you don't necessarily want that. But by using a thinner cord, you can more finely adjust using 10, 12, 14, 16, whatever, without going into a huge diameter. Now, you don't necessarily want a very thick string, because a thicker string will also yield more air resistance and you will have a slower arrow speed. But on the other hand, you should either go too thin because you will risk breaking the string and your bow. So better safe than sorry. Today I am going to be using 6 strands divided into 2 bundles of 3. Now, how do I do that? Well, I use clamps, because when I clamp this to the table, I can set it here. You can also use a couple of nails on the wall, but that's going to be very stationary. And if you have multiple bows and you have to make multiple strings, you'll have multiple nails in your wall. But with the clamp, you can simply adjust the length. So in order to make this bowstring the correct length, using a Flemish twist design, you have to know your bow length minus 3 inches. That's the general string length, but then add 2 feet, because that's going to be twisted into itself. So that's what we're going to do. So the easy way, I have no measuring materials with me today, measuring tools. So I'm just going to lay out the bow from one end to the other and add 2 feet. So if I move this back here, you can see that's from almost by the camera to the end of the table. So I'm going to change the clamp at either end. that's going to be it. I'm going to start from there. So I'm just going to move you, and then we're going to lay out some pulls. Now, rather have it too long than too short, because you have to use this twist. Let's take a normal bowstring to twist it back into itself. And if you have too short a bow, too short a string, you will have this back twist too short, and it might unravel or simply slip off. You don't want that. So better safe than sorry, and better have 4 inches too long than 4 inches too short. Let's get on with it. Cool, so let's get started. So what we do is we wrap this cord to one end. Don't tie it, just wrap it around. The wax on the thread will keep it from sliding. So simply keep it taut, don't pull it, just keep it taut. Okay, go around. And like I said, I'm going to be using 6 strands because it's a thick cord. So I'm going to use another 3, 4, good, 5, and 6. I'm just going to tie it off at one end. And then the knife, cut it. Now see, this doesn't unravel because the wax makes it a little abrasive. So no more of the cord, put it away. And then we have to get these 2 bundles here. Don't twist them, that'll come later. If you twist them now, it'll be very gnarly piece of string. So what we do is cut the string off. And be careful not to drop it on the floor. You don't want that. You don't want all sorts of rubbish on your string. Now keep it taut so that they are basically equal. Now they don't have to be exactly the same. That's not the point. So now I have 2 strands. Let's see. There we are. Now these we'll call bundles, 2 bundles. Now you'll notice that normally when you see a bowstring, there will be 2 different colors, because this will be a bit hard to work out which is which, but we'll do our best. Now, for making this back twist, I would want these to be odd length. So I'll just cut off 1 inch from either, so that they are not the exact same length. I'll show you what I mean later. And be sure to keep your bundles separate. So, different length means that they won't come out when we back twist at the same spot, making an ugly ending. So now we have the basic length here, and you go back about 1 foot to here, and that's where we start. That's where we're gonna, our flemish, our back twist is gonna end. So halfway on there, and add about 2 inches for the loop. Now bear in mind when you make the loop that a big loop will have the bowstring have a tendency to just come off the knock, and too small you won't get it on. So you have to adjust that once we get to it. But I'll fill you in on that. Right, I'm going to bring it up closer for this twisting part itself. Right, so let's begin the twisting. Now the Flemish twist, you anchor it in 1 point here. Right, keep it squeezed together. Then take the 1 bundle, twist it away from you, grab with the finger underneath, and twist back. 1 more, twist forward, grab the cord underneath, and twist back. Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. So forward, away from you, and bring that underneath and in front. Right? So bring forward and back, forward and back. So what we do is we go forward, back, and you'll get the hang of this really quickly. And the flax string is actually quite nice to work with because it stays. It's abrasive and it's a bit stiff, so it stays there. Quite easy to work with. That's just about 1 inch, a bit more. Now for this bow, I would like the loop fairly big because it's cut, the knot is cut down onto the tip. See, that's about 1 inch long. We'll need it a bit bigger. So, twist away, come under, twist away, come under, twist away, come under. Now real slow. Here, twist away from you. Bring that under. See, nice, even. I'll just go back and see if I have the correct length. One more, two more twists. Now, if you're not sure, just go back, hold it together, and put it over. See, that'll be just about perfect there, and we could begin the back twist. So we still have 2 bundles. We'll just leave that there, and we need the 2 bundles here. Now be sure the same 2 bundles, right? So we don't want to be mixing it up here. Then we'll put the 2 bundles over each other. Yeah, right. Press it together, and then you just repeat the motion from before. Forward, come back. Forward, come back. Forward, come back. Forward, come back. And see? That's the back twist. Now, your bundles will be a mess down here. You have to sort those out in a bit. So what I'm doing for now is simply completing this until I run out of string, the one that came around. So I'll just fast forward a bit to the ending. Right, so come to the end of this back twist. That's right. Now I'm beginning to come to these ends where I have them cut off at odd lengths. Now the purpose of this is because when you twist this back to where it ends, you're going to have those ends sticking out of the final twist. Now if you have them all sticking out the same place, then you'll have quite big ends coming out, lumps of string, and that's not very pretty. Now it's only for looks because it doesn't have any practical function as such. But when you do it like this, you'll have them even out. Now you can actually see I could actually cut them off. I think I'm going to do that. So have these separate bundles still. I could cut those off to have an even smoother transition from thick to thinner, because here we have two. The other one is already in there, so cut that off there, and another one here to make a smooth transition. And the ends sticking out, there will be some, you can simply just cut those off. Now usually when you use dacron, you can simply cut these off, and then burn them in, be almost invisible. You can simply just cut them off in by the string. It won't unravel because you have the Flemish twist. So doing this, just have these ones here. Smooth transition from thick to thinner. So that is the basic. Now I have to go and sort out the rest of the string. Become quite a mess, but I still have my clear bundles here. So I'll just straighten those out and keep them taut. And then we'll go to sort out the overall length of the string in a moment. Right, we're back. Strands all sorted out, bundles sorted out, and we have to figure out our overall length of the string. And the general rule of thumb is that your string should be 3 inches shorter than the overall length from knock to knock. An easy way to find out that is simply to put the loop on that you already made, go back on the bow, figure out, right, here is the other knock, but you have to go 3 inches back, and this will be the end of the final loop. But we have to make a back twist, so what we do is we go about 6 inches back and start a Flemish twist from there, and then we'll flip into it afterwards. So about here, 6 inches back, I'll start from there. So we have kept our bundles straight and taut. Don't twist them, because you'll have a really wanky string if you do that. So here, you simply start from here, and then you work 6 inches this way to where the loop is going to be. I see, I just messed up the overall length here. So, starting from here, you see, right. So same as before, starting here, keep it tight, squeeze it, twist away, flip back, twist away, flip back. Like I said, once you get the hang of this, it's quite easy, but don't despair, because the first couple of times you'll just mess this up and you'll feel frustrated. I did. Once you get the hang of it, it doesn't take long. And the nice thing is here, because you have the ends here, they won't filter up. See? Already made 1.5 inch of this in this short amount of time. Now, like I said before, keep in mind that your string should rather be too long than too short, because the Flemish twist, you can just twist it back, twist it up and shorten it like that, but you can never make it longer. And the string will stretch a bit once you start using it, but we'll get to that later. Able to follow this, right? Twist back, twist back, twist back. That's about 4 inches, not long to go now. Now occasionally I just run my fingers through here to straighten them out. Almost there. Now, once we get to those 6 inches, we're going to add about 2 inches more because we have to make the loop. So we need 2 inches more from here. Pardon my sniffling, it's quite cold here. How are we doing? Just about. Now what I'm going to do now is just put the loop, the first loop, on the knock and just straighten out the string to see how we fit. So putting the loop on, stretching it, stretching here to see. So yeah, need actually just a little more because we're not quite there yet. That should do it, I think. Except the string is going to stretch a bit. That will be just about perfect. Look at that. Bottom of the string, bottom of the loop, right there, and the bottom of the knock is there. 3 inches. Almost perfect. Now, the next part is getting these ends twisted back into the main string. I'll show you a trick I have for that. Right. So now we laid here. This is where our loop is going to end. You open up one loop and put the top one down and the bottom one from up and back, like so. Right there. And then you twist them either way, just like you did when you first twisted. I'm going to twist it back. I'm going to go down, open another one again. The upper one goes down. The bottom one comes up. Go back, twist them either way, so they twist the same way as the cord laying next to it. Close it, and open, and then next one, not here, but here. Remember to keep one crossed The one to the right goes down, bring it around onto the side. The bottom one, the left one, comes up and out to the right. Twist it in here and twist them either way. So, and then twist this in here to lock it. Now the flax is a bit harder to work with, mainly because it's actually more coarse thread than Dacron, but I guess it'll work. It's not as easy to work with. So the right one down and come back, and the left one up and come right. Twist them either way and twist this back to lock it. Just keep on going for 6 inches. I'll come back to you when I get down here. Right, so we're nearing completion. Let's put in this. Anyway, that's the end of the first one. We're nearing completion here. But you can see that these ones here are basically the same length. And here we have a slight difference. So what I'm going to do now is to cut this off. I'm going to cut these as well. 1 inch back. So that I can get this, I'm going to make them just even here. Almost even. So if you have 6 different lengths, then you have the cord coming out 6 different places, and you won't get these knots. So still keep on going. Open up, open up. Now the flax is actually nice because it stays very well in the position you put it. So actually easier, I think, to practice the Flemish twist because it's not very lively. So it stays in the position you put it quite nicely. It makes it easier to do, especially this part here. Whereas the more pliable cords tend to move around a lot. I think this is actually easier for a beginner. You can practice on any piece of string you have. It doesn't have to be the final bowstring you're making, but when you're making the final bowstring, please use some cord that is suitable. But for practice, you can use anything. So just coming to the end, down, and left, up, and right. You can see this short one here won't be in the next loop. Simply too short, and it's okay, it'll stick out there and we'll cut it off afterwards. Likewise, from the bottom now, don't think this short one would come through. Yes, it would, but then it will be out on the next one. Down, out, up and out. This is just perfect. So much difficult. separating the cords now. Down and up. Oh, this is a fiddly part. Up and out. And that's it. And these short ones here, we can simply just cut those off. And we have this end sorted out. But before we do that, I'm going to put it on the bow. So, stick around. Right, so we're done. See, one smaller than the other. The smaller one goes at the bottom. And the big one goes in the top. Now let's see if this holds up. I'm excited about this. It does. Because it's a bit too long. Brace height is too short. So what I'm simply going to do here is take it back off, twist it counterclockwise, and put it back on. Still there. Like I said, it's going to stretch. But it's really no problem. You can simply just keep on twisting it for quite some time before it starts making knots on itself. Better. So that is a flax bowstring, and these little ends here, simply just cut them off, either a knife or a scissor, and that will do. Now, back in the day when we actually used flax as one of your main bowstring components, we didn't actually have serving, but you could use a thinner thread for serving, because this is also actually almost about 3 millimeters thick now. And when it starts to get dried, please apply some string wax to it. Beeswax, this is beeswax, so just keep on using that. And in a moment, we'll shoot it. Excited about that, really. See you in a bit. Right, welcome back. String still intact, and fits beautifully on the knock. Could be a bit thicker actually. So I don't have a target with me, so I'll be using a blunt. I'm excited to see. Holds up. I'm going to murder on the fingers if I don't have any. This, it's actually a bit abrasive, this flax here, so gloves would be preferred. Beautiful. And that was making a bowstring. See, cut off the ends here. Got them laying nice and smooth into the string at both ends. Right, I hope you get to start making your own bowstring now. Right? Nice. Thanks for watching.